This video is brought to you by Keeps. Stick around to hear more about the discount that they're providing to the entire upper echelon community. Okay, today we have happy news because today we get to talk about the apparent and fast approaching end of EA's market-dominating exclusive contracts. Without beating around the bush, FIFA, known in English as the International Federation of Association Football, has released a statement that indicates they are now seeking, quote, various industry players, including developers, investors, and analysts, to build out a long-term view of the gaming, esports, and interactive entertainment sector, end quote. Basically, EA has lost, at this particular point in time, their exclusivity contract, almost certainly as a result of financial disagreement, because FIFA was asking for a $1 billion payout every 4 years to continue that partnership. Reading further from the statement, we can see the following. Quote, the outcome will ensure that FIFA has a range of suitable parties with specialist capabilities to actively shape the best possible experiences and offerings for fans and consumers. Gaming and esports are the fastest growing media verticals on the planet, with new and diverse types of games launching continuously. It is therefore of crucial importance for FIFA and its stakeholders to maximize all future opportunities for football and gaming fans. FIFA also has a duty to support its 211 member associations to fully capitalize on the inherent opportunities that have been emerging over the recent years. As part of this strategy, FIFA also commits to continuing to organize skill-based esports tournaments under the umbrella of the recently launched FIFA E competition structure and consumer brand. End quote. Sorry to begin with just reading quotes, but it was fairly important because this is no small thing. As reported by Metro in 2019, income from Ultimate Team microtransactions composed over 28% of the entire publisher's general income stream for EA. It is unknown how exactly that number breaks down into individual games, but FIFA has long been the cornerstone of the Ultimate Team business model in its entirety, and is, without any dispute whatsoever, EA's most profitable gaming franchise. Here's the thing, this is an extremely large industry shakeup because EA has been controlling this particular gaming vertical for nearly 30 years. As far back as 1993, EA was working alongside FIFA to produce an exclusive annual franchise video game, and in 2013, that contract was renewed with an expiration in 2022. This contract contained the following statement, quote, under the terms of the agreement, EA Sports maintains exclusive rights to release FIFA-branded action and management video games. In addition, EA Sports also holds exclusive rights to release the official FIFA World Cup trademarked video game, as well as retaining its status as a presenting partner of the FIFA Interactive World Cup. End quote. Understanding the global recognition of FIFA branding, in addition to the global popularity of the FIFA League itself, on top of the already proven cornerstone financial status for the annualized FIFA video games when it comes to EA as a publisher, it should become immediately clear that this is a very significant event and will now allow for officially branded FIFA video games to be produced by competing publishers. That right there is good for gamers and bad for EA. I should make a note right here that there is an atmosphere, actually, within Electronic Arts that the gaming publisher does not need the FIFA brand or partnership to find its own success. About a week prior to this announcement, EA was speculating about a franchise name change in an official blog post, which would seem to indicate that the split has been on the horizon for quite some time. Even so, branching away from the world's most popular and most well-known soccer entity that hosts the World Cup, that's risky. And it's not exactly clear who is the driving force behind that change. Is it EA because they don't want to pay that $1 billion, or is it FIFA because they know that there's always a bigger fish, or multiple bigger fish?
Sponsor time. I'll make it short, sweet, and to the point. 2 out of 3 men experience hair loss before the age of 35. Most people who watch this channel are men ages 18 to 45. There's a few other people, but it's mostly that demographic. Combine those 2 factors and we arrive at Keeps. Keeps is a hair loss prevention treatment with more 5-star reviews than any of its current competitors. You can order and get treated directly from your own home for a fraction of the cost when compared to other products, and they offer generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss treatments on the entire market. For a limited time, using the link down below in the description, you can get 50% off your first order. Again, that's 50% off your first order if you click the link down below in the description. Keeps can help prevent, even reverse the process of hair loss, and combining that with an audience who is effectively the most susceptible demographic when it comes to that, it's an ongoing partnership that makes sense, and they've supported the channel for a very, very long time. Big thank you to Keeps for sponsoring the channel.
No matter the reason, either way, whatever it could be, a long-standing, multi-decade partnership that saw sports fans relegated to an annualized release cycle in a game where they feel trapped and often betrayed is coming to an end. Not to mention the black market where a FIFA employee was allegedly selling untradeable FIFA icons for cash payments, a regulatory market where the publisher was forced to justify its methodology to sovereign governments, and a popularity rating that bottomed out a long time ago. FIFA as a general gaming concept is finally back on the table for other publishers, and I for one think that the presence of opportunity, if you will, can only ever be a good thing. So I'm happy to bring you this news, but I'm not actually finished. EA is well known for their dominance of the sports market, not just FIFA, other titles as well, but their dominance in the sports market in general, including FIFA, but they are also known for their dominance of the Star Wars market. Funnily enough, on May 8th of 2013, FIFA wasn't the only decade-long contract that they were finally wrapping up. 2 days earlier, on May 6th of 2013, EA had locked in access to a Star Wars agreement that positioned them as the only publisher of Star Wars branded video games for a very long time. I had to go all the way back to the archives of 2013, actually, because the page no longer exists for some reason, but I did find it, and in that post, Kathleen Kennedy, head of Lucasfilm, said, quote, "Our number one objective was to find a developer who could consistently deliver our fans great Star Wars games for years to come. When we looked at the talent of the teams that EA was committing to our games and the quality of their vision for Star Wars, the choice was clear." End quote. Obviously, that quote hasn't aged very well, but May of 2013 was a pretty significant month for EA. Well, the FIFA news might be hot off the press, if you will, and this next bit of info is much older about Star Wars, but in January of 2021, a representative of Disney, Sean Shoptaw, I believe, Senior Vice President of Global Games and Interactive Experiences at the company, asked for comment by Wired. Wired went out and reached out to him, said, quote, "EA has been and will continue to be a very strategic and important partner for us now and going forward. But we did feel like there's room for others," end quote. Obviously, Disney isn't going to come out and say EA sucks and they did a bad job, so we're breaking it off with them, but in my opinion, that's kind of what that quote means. This came in light of an announcement that detailed how Ubisoft would be making an open-world Star Wars game, ending the 8-year market-dominating exclusivity period for Electronic Arts and opening up the field yet again. And previously, when the field was open, we got a lot of really good Star Wars games from a bunch of different studios, so I think EA has had a decidedly negative impact on that space. The open-world Star Wars game from Ubisoft will be developed by Massive Entertainment, led by Julian Garrity, I believe. I've actually met him, by the way, and a lot of the team members over at Massive numerous times. My first real content on YouTube actually focused exclusively on The Division, which was developed by Massive Entertainment, and for better or for worse, that game gripped my interest for nearly 5,000 hours. I will be right there waiting to see what this new Star Wars game will bring, because an open-world Star Wars title on the Snowdrop engine, it will probably be filled with bugs, I'm just going to be real with you, but it might also bring me 10,000 hours of fun. I am thrilled to see that EA has lost their exclusivity on Star Wars. These two announcements might be months apart. I'm definitely not breaking the news when it comes to the Star Wars thing. That's been around for a while. And they're positioned towards the expiration of their previous contract terms anyway, but that does not change the fact that two of the largest gaming exclusivity deals in the entire industry, both of them held and controlled by a reviled and hated publisher, are coming to an end. It's a day to be happy and a day for us to realize that there might suddenly be quite a few more projects cropping up that use these properties, and those projects are now free to be developed by separate studios, publishers, and companies. This doesn't mean that EA is prevented from making these kinds of games, not in the slightest. I would argue that they are in a great position to continue capitalizing on the existing FIFA player base that they cultivated for almost 30 straight years, and it might even remain a cornerstone of their business model, but they will no longer be the only company allowed to even try. Results won't be immediate. There will be a wind-up period where other companies begin spinning up their turbines and cultivating certain contracts, but down the line, the removal of that bottleneck can only really be a good thing. If you think EA has treated the Star Wars license with respect and created amazing titles in that area, that's fine, because they will almost certainly continue to produce sequels and fresh titles in the universe if they feel it's going to be profitable enough. But if you think that it monumentally sucked to have every single Star Wars game come from just them and them alone, today is a really good day. Likewise with FIFA, a great deal of the overall draw is to play the game with actual players from actual teams. Half the reason people move on to the next annualized installment every year is roster changes, and if FIFA as an organization is now actively looking for other partners, it will mean that the number of options can only increase. Good for players, bad for EA, a very happy day for the player base in general. As a final aside here, the cynic in me also has a few different thoughts, and I figure if clearly labeled, it might be worth doing. FIFA was hit somewhat recently, I think in 2020 actually, by corruption scandals and investigation probes over criminal behavior in Switzerland. It's possible that this business shift might be a result of actual greed on the part of FIFA, and simply result in them mistreating or misusing the brand within the video game industry worse than EA possibly, which then leads to terrible, greedy developers being the only ones who actually foot the exorbitant cost of a deal. In shorter words, it's possible we end up with the worst, greediest mobile game devs and free-to-play model companies investing in the FIFA name, which wouldn't actually create good competition, it would just pollute the overall space. A lot depends on how they handle these potential contracts from here on out, but again, I lean towards any competition being good competition on this topic, so I find it really hard to be negative overall on that front. EA certainly still has Madden, and they may still acquire more licenses in the future, but two big names being opened up again, finally, after this many years, I'm happy about it, and I thought that overall it was worth a video. That's it though. If you want support, check out the links down below. There is a YouTube platform alternative called Odyssey. You can watch all the content over there. Also locals, $5 a month to support the channel and get completely ad-free versions of all the uploads. Another gaming YouTuber to check out. Merchandise, social media, also Keeps. Check the link down below and support them because they support the channel, etc., etc. But I'll cut it there and I'll stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching. I hope that even though this video might seem negative to some people, this was a happy day and a happy topic. And I'm actually really thrilled to have these things be true, right? FIFA and Star Wars and things like that opening up. There's a lot of potential there. So take that for what you will and have a nice night.